Well, it's good to know that $3.5 million can create a nice glittery shit. But you know, there is one other Kickstarter project that came out recently that's actually pretty fucking good. This is Spark the Electric Jester, headed by resident edgy Jester, headed by Lake Fepid, a heavily inspired classic 2D styled action platformer based on 90s titles such as Sonic the Hedgehog, Kirby, and Mega Man X. This PC title is a great contrast to Yooka-Layle's fucking demise and a great start to 2017 thus far. Spark takes place on an alien planet with a large air circulation crisis, and we open to our main protagonist, Spark, out of a job and replaced by a robot of his likeness named Far. He then finds himself in an adventure to get his job back, but ends up getting caught in a huge mess. Spark plays exactly as you would expect, with a fun twist. You find yourself picking up power-ups that completely change your form and how Spark plays, with some of them turning him into an archer, a wizard, or even an edgelord, just to name a few, although I do frown upon users of the gravity and the OP-ness of the cool Jester. All the powers are fun to use, and you'll find yourself grabbing your favourite power-ups whenever you find them, or scavenging to get them back whenever you lose them. Although you never find yourself struggling, no matter which one you have, which is a bit of a shame because there is a lack of difficulty, but I'll get back to that. The absolute high point of Spark is the music, and while there isn't much as Lake's previous titles, this is the highest quality music that I've seen in a game ever. It has a tremendous combination of retro fun, instrumental, and bouncing synth that goes perfectly with your running, jumping, and dashing. Seriously, this is one of the only games where I listen to the soundtrack on its own. The art style for Spark is an instant joy. Some of the landscapes are astounding. While the slow motion makes you feel like an absolute badass when you beat that really hard boss, its implementation means that instead of actually slowing the game down, it reduces your frame rate, which can be visually jarring. In fact, when I beat the final boss, I had actually thought the game seized up and died, later to find out I was just watching a PowerPoint presentation of Spark. Spark's controls are a good balance between tight and fluid. His movement manages to feel snappy while still retaining some real weight. The fighting mechanics feel really bland, as it's just a mix of button mashing and charging an attack every now and then. Seriously, it's like a child playing Street Fighter where they just mash one attack for the whole game. As for the AI, some of the enemies feel really poorly made, especially the melee based enemies, as it appears they charge at you based on their origin point, which ends up putting them inside of you and beginning a futile attempt to attack the air behind you, ending in their inevitable button mashy death. Once you beat the game though, you are rewarded with a special mode called Fark Mode, and although it's the whole game over again with slightly different levels, you shouldn't let that fool you, as Fark Mode is the real meat of this game. You now have a lot more movement options compared to Spark, as you can infinitely dash in the air and walk on walls without needing a power up. You don't have power ups anymore, but you now have the ability to parry an enemy's attack to build up a charge. This opens up two new playstyles where either you can use your charge to heal once it gets to a certain point, or you can build up your charge fully, which will automatically turn you into Super Fark. The moment when you get that perfect parry, the slow motion kicks in and you turn into Super Fark is absolutely epic. It is a bit of a shame though, because Super Fark feels really weak even though you have to work so hard for it. The levels have so much to offer in size and paths. Each time I've come back, I've found a new path to the boss, and some of the stages have their issues with player collision, allowing you to escape the boundaries or get clipped into walls. Just about every stage has its own two-part theme, separating the level into two distinct environments, both sharing an astounding song, like the fast-paced tune of Sunfire Forest. Or the chilled guitar of Sunset Heights. I mention I really like Sunset Heights? The levels range from beaches made for transmitting data, to carnivals full of robotics and holograms, to huge fleets of spaceships commanded by robots and jungles that have been taken over by bees and mushrooms. All have unique gameplay elements that suit the stages and bring you back to your favourite levels, whether to beat your previous record, to hear the music, or just to enjoy the scenery again. Spark is a great nostalgia trip and an awesome example of how you can revitalise the games of the past with a new age spin and not have people hate you for it. I'm looking at you, Ukulele. Spark understands how to create a retro-style action platformer that brings in new elements to the genre while managing to still keep it fun and original. Helped by inspiration from old classics and Lake Fepard's extensive experience making retro platformers. While there isn't a lot of difficulty initially, it has a sort of Dark Souls beat the game and replay with extra challenges style that manages to ramp up the difficulty nicely. Spark joins Shovel Knight on the list of masterpieces to come out of successful Kickstarters leaving Ukulele in the dust, and that's why I'm giving Spark a 7 out of 10. If you like this video, you should check out my other stuff. I make Overwatch montages and speedruns, and if you really like this video, make sure to like and subscribe so you know when I make more reviews and other gaming related videos.